All right. Welcome to the meeting of the Economic Development Council. Today is December 13th, and it's 1 o'clock. Just to let people know, this meeting is being televised. So the first item on the agenda is the acceptance of minutes from November 8th.
Although I'd love to take credit for it, it wasn't my idea to paint the crosswalks purple. That was something that came from Dottie, and I think it was Stonehill's idea.
Yeah.
But that's on the second page.
Okay. And I noticed a couple of small typos. There's a typo in my name on the first page. Members not in attendance, full Giannitti has one T. And then on Bruce's last name, on the fourth paragraph up from the bottom, it should just be Boyer, not with an S, right?
Same thing on the second page.
Second page.
Boyer.
Yep.
I got it. Yeah.
All right. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Great. Next up, Queeset Commercial District Economic Development Strategic Plan Rollout. You want to talk about that, Stephanie?
Yes, so at the last meeting, what we did is went through and received comments from the council members on the McCabe report. And we talked about next steps and what the council wanted to do. And they felt that before actually deciding what action items to start working on and how to break those up and kind of drill down, it made a lot of sense to deliver a report out to the public, primarily in the business district, so the business owners, the property owners. And we agreed that we'd talk about planning for that at this meeting.
Oh, great.
Timing and how we want to conduct that. I think one of the things we want to talk about is some of the constraints that the business owners will have. I think someone recently, it might have been you, Dottie, I was talking with about this, and I think maybe the suggestion was doing like a breakfast.
Yeah, there was a group called Business Leaders in Boston, and that's what they were finding was working well when you're dealing with a lot of restaurants, because like the 10 o'clock time frame in the morning seems to be better because restaurants really start to kick into high gear, around the noontime
Yeah,
time
and
frame, so.
even the retail businesses, generally, they would open no earlier than 10 o'clock.
Right.
And so should be available for a breakfast.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And certainly we want to bring the planning board into the review. Definitely want the Board of Selectmen to hear about the report and what the findings are.
And I think for a kickoff like that, we want to get some of the stakeholders. I think we need to develop a list of who we want to be at that. And so, like off the top of my head, I'm thinking certainly the Easton Chamber of Commerce, the Metro South Chamber, probably a good opportunity to try to work on our relationship strengthening with Mass DOT District 5 representatives. Anytime we can try to invite them to something, I think it's a good opportunity to get to know them a little bit better. Maybe.
Certainly David Field.
Yeah. This is the hard part to me, I think, with anything, because you always think you have everybody covered, and then you always find out you forgot like a very important person. So we should really think about this a little, develop the list and look at it a couple of times.
I think having our legislators there is important, because any work that we'd like to see Mass DOT do, any influence there, they can be very helpful in that process. And then down the road, if there are any grants that the town wants to apply for, when they know ahead of time what it is you're looking to do and planning for, it makes it easier to get them to support that.
It's a good idea.
We could get somebody from the state too. Who was the woman? I have her business card. I want to say it began with an M. She came down a couple of years ago and interviewed and went on tour down at some places in the industrial park. She was with the business office of the state. I can look her name up. She was great. I think she'd be really a good resource for that area, and I think she would like to come back and see what's transpired and what we're planning on, because she was very interested in that area with the industrial park too.
You have an email database of all the business owners in that area?
Not-
It's nice to email a PDF out ahead of time.
Well,
Give them a chance to read it and then come equipped to talk.
we have mailing information, and I don't know if when we compiled that, we were able to get some of the email addresses. But what we can do is definitely mail out, and just like a little flyer or something, or a little letter talking about the report and directing them to the website and the
Right.
link.
We've
So they
talked
can get-
about,
Nice to-
though, setting up even a mail account, something free to collect those names so that businesses it would be information driven to us rather than us going out to see it, to see who wants these updates.
I
And
think you could create a sign-up sheet on the website where
Right.
people can log in and provide their contact information and.
Right, yeah.
that's definitely something we should be doing. I think I said I would set up the account, and I didn't do it yet, so I'll put that on my list.
Well, whenever the group has something, maybe posting the meetings, we could send blast emails out. Get them all in there.
Right.
And so maybe what we do with that is we could mail this out. If we have email addresses, we can email anyone who has one. It would have a link to, it would be an introduction of the report, why we undertook it, that we're going to be presenting the results of the report to the property owners and business owners, provide the link to the report, provide a link to where they can sign up and give us their email, and then give them kind of a time frame that we'll be getting back to them with a date
Yeah.
and time. So it gives them an opportunity to be thinking about this and not just, hey, we're going to do this on X date.
I'm a member of the Metro South. I can pay a visit over there and see unless you guys have a contact already over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Cooney is
yeah.
usually
Oh,
the,
he's the head guy. I didn't know if there was somebody.
go right to the top, Tim.
Go right to the top.
Yeah.
All right, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Taken care of.
But yeah, we have a lot of contacts over there
Okay.
too, so. And I'm thinking to make sure that we let all our boards and departments know, because I'm thinking, the Commission on Disabilities, I don't interact with, I'm not even really sure off the top of my head the people that are on that, but that should certainly be a group that's interested in this. The Garden Club, some of the less obvious ones, Council on Aging, for the mobility issues and stuff.
We have info on the group of the people that bought the Careers Plaza. I mean, that might be so new that it's not in our system yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I have,
Okay.
yep. They would definitely be part of the, yes, that's,
And if you wanted to get us some contacts at Stonehill, I know Doug is up and running now, right?
Doug's up and running now. Yes.
So I'm sure he would want, and we should certainly invite Father Denning.
Yep.
Whether they can
Absolutely.
come or not, we should
Yep.
definitely invite them.
Where will we host this event?
well, that's,
So it sounds like Gillette Stadium pretty soon.
Getting pretty big.
Well, you invite a lot of people, and probably, not
So-
everybody comes.
so it should
but-
be in the district. Kind of the obvious places would be Stonehill,
Right.
if we're expecting a large turnout. Doug's always willing to offer up his conference rooms, but they're smaller.
And I think, don't you have to put money down on a lease?
No,
Just kidding.
no, but don't have your picture taken with.
Yeah, Doug, the room that he has in his new building is pretty big. Or even the one in the older side. That
Yeah, I mean, I think they would maybe comfortably hold 30 people. That's,
On the original site, I think, there's
You
more
think
than
it's
that,
bigger
because
than
the
that?
chamber has a lot of breakfasts there.
It
And
can
I-
hold more than 30. I've been there.
I would say 50.
in the one in Queesit on the pond,
Not on the pond, on the original,
the original new
First,
building.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I've been in that.
yeah, you've been there, where we presented the last time.
And I'm trying to remember that room.
It's long.
It's long, it's not
Right,
very deep, but it's
right,
longer.
it's, that's what I'm thinking, it's long and not very deep, yeah. But-
We
We've
could-
got several locations on campus that I'm sure we could, depending on how,
So
Many
I
people.
think one of the things we should do is really try to push for RSVP so we know.
Right.
And,
Right.
and we can indicate that too, to make sure that, properly sized.
Sure.
And just, we can line up ahead of time, a couple of locations and then,
So, and then next, we'll just have to look for what day on the calendar, what time, and get that scheduled too.
so what time frame are we thinking here? My feeling is the report's out. You want to give people enough time to review it, but I don't think we want to wait too long because then, people will start looking at the date and feel like even if it isn't, and it's not, that it's stale. So you want to try to get that information out sooner. And I think part of the purpose of doing this is really to build some interest in some of the recommended action items which really require participation from the business community.
Well, this is our December meeting, so I think January would be I don't think we would have enough time to do
Right,
that.
right.
But certainly by February, like the end of February, I would think we could. I don't know if it's better to wait till March or if that's too late.
I was thinking no later than March.
Yeah, maybe the beginning of March. I'm thinking then weather's an issue between February and March, but that can be almost an issue for the whole spring these days.
So we're saying the beginning of March, is that what?
End of February, beginning of March, depending on availability. So the first thing we'd have to do is put an invitation to find out if any place has any space on any of those days.
Mhm.
Could you do that
Yeah.
before our next meeting?
Yep.
And pick the target date and then get the invites going? All right, great. And then, so we'll gather all of that information and comments and review that before we come out with our rollout plan.
Mm-hmm.
so spring break is the first week of March next year, so the campus will be pretty empty. So there'll be
Oh, good.
plenty of parking, we'll have plenty of open locations.
Perfect timing. All right. And anything else on this item? Okay, going right into doing business in Easton guides.
So it wasn't at the last meeting, it was at the meeting before that I showed people the new landing page for doing business in Easton. And from here, you can get to the Think Easton web page, which has all the information. This is the piece that was created for the town. And we talked about updating the Doing Business in Easton guide, which is the flow chart, and I handed out that. I think we still have that in here, but it's outdated in some areas. Let's see, I can scroll down. here. Okay, so this is what Tish had created, you know, kind of a quick reference. And we may have disconnected the link that had the flow chart. So it would describe, you know, if you're planning on opening, say, a restaurant, it would take you down a flow chart that would help you know whether you needed a building permit, whether you needed a Board of Health permit, that type of thing, but it was outdated. And Tish was working on updating that. Unfortunately for our department, but to the benefit of the assessor's office, Tish applied for and received a position in the assessor's office, so she wasn't able to complete this. We have hired a new clerk who starts the beginning of January and who has a lot of experience in flow charting, so I expect he'll be able to update that chart very quickly.
It was a good choice.
Thank you, thank you. We are very pleased. Keith, for anyone who knows him, Keith Eldridge will be the new principal clerk in our department. And he has experience working with the town offices, and he has a lot of technology experience, which is what I'm looking forward to. One of the things Tish did work on and get done was this, like an updated brochure about Think Easton. So I have 2 copies. You'll see they're taped together because our color printer doesn't print back to back. These would be printed at Staples on a higher quality paper, but
This would be a trifold.
it would be. And I can email that around to people to take a look at. We did one that Dottie is looking at right now that would be targeted towards hotels, you know, why Easton would be the right location for a kind of a mid-sized hotel. And one of the things Tish was looking at was taking that brochure, not exactly as it's laid out there, because that's really designed for a trifold, but creating an online brochure that was pretty flashy. I guess there's this software called Sway that Microsoft has that allows you to do that. So that's one of the things we'll be looking at too. So again, just really trying to build our marketing presence and give it a big update. So.
I think that'll be really helpful.
Yes, yep,
You go back to the Think Easton one
yes,
again.
yep.
Like, how come these aren't all like linked together? You know what I mean? Like,
The Think Easton was its own web domain that was outside of the town's website. So there's a link to it because that was when Dan Smith was the one who started the Economic Development Council, and he put that website together. And at the time, the town website, you know, it's department heads have to do a lot of the updating on that, or actually this goes back to, I think, when Connor was the citizens business advocate. We had a staff person that could do some of the updates on the website, but the council wanted to be able to update this website on their own quicker.
yeah, I mean, my, I guess, concern was when you go into this, which seems like almost like a brochure for Easton, it doesn't get you to the other area where you might want to start the permitting. Is there any way to link it all together, or is that not possible because they're separate?
Yes, we do
Yeah.
have, we can, so Dottie made a real good point. The challenge with Think Easton is that this is a different interface than our website. So you need to kind of learn this one. They all act differently. I don't know if this is Wix, which is kind of a basic structure, that
Okay.
WebPress, gosh, what are some of the other ones? But they all have a different way you interface with them, so you kind of have to learn how to do it. I don't know if we can add pages.
Yeah, we can. I
Which
know how
we
to
can
use
do.
Wix.
Okay. So that would be, I mean, that's a really good point, but we can add in
Once we
different
get that,
places.
once we
like-
get that flow chart done, we can put a link
Right.
right at the top in that navigation
Right.
bar right there, saying, you know, to connect to that.
Well, I'm just trying to look at it from someone who's not, like, I'm looking for this, whereas somebody that might be considering our town isn't necessarily thinking that there is a Think Easton.
Well,
And the
that-
only way you get to it is, see that small link at the bottom, and then when you scroll up, you see where it says working, living, thriving, Think Easton. It looks like a hyperlink.
Let me go back, and I don't know why this is.
So I just,
So this is, we have the doing business in Easton on the planning board page, on the planning department page. And I was just talking with Andrea about this today. We're going to sit down as a department and talk about how better to organize our web pages so that they make more sense for that reason. And also, this probably should go on somewhere on the front page, you know, if you're doing business. So let's go. We have businesses. Well, you get to Think Easton right from there too. However, your point that from here, oh, you sold me. I want to
Right.
get back, and I want
They're
that
not-
link
right.
to go to.
there's a lot of
You want some
information.
circular.
Well, I think it
linking.
just should be idiot-proof, as we used to say, where, I mean, because it's a lot of information, and
Yeah.
I don't really, if I wasn't involved in this group, would think to even hit that Think Easton button up there until, you know.
We should probably
Well,
have
that's
maybe
why
in
we
the,
called this doing business in Easton. See, go ahead, Dottie, because that was our thing. Think Easton came from the early version of this, and I think people wanted, well, Think Easton. But what does that mean? How do you attract business, which is why
But
we
it-
call this doing business.
yeah, I would say Think Easton is a logo, right? So it's got the graphic
envision.
and then the Think Easton. If you had that underneath the statement, the graphic, and then it said, click here for a flow chart of how to do business in
Some sort of
Easton, you know, like a
explanation
little
of what it is. I
explanation.
mean, it's-
But it should be at the top. And then it could say, click here to go to the, to the Think Easton economic development page
Or
or
just
something.
get rid of it and put the information on the economic development page.
We couldn't do that because there's not enough room on there to put all those pages and testimonial, and there's a lot of stuff in the Think Easton.
Well, I know there
website, a
is, I
lot of
didn't know that you
pages.
couldn't combine it with what the planning department pages are, it's just,
So the Think Easton site's really the marketing piece,
Yeah,
right,
and there should be a big next steps button that takes you.
Something,
to the-
yeah.
the next site. That gives you the details of how to move forward with various departments.
Right.
And you can explain that on the Think Easton site, that there is a next step with much more detail.
So maybe at any point over here on the left in large letters, it could
well,
be
you've
the
got
next
this,
step.
this step almost here, you got why our community, our team meet with us, and then there should be something below that saying
get started.
your next step, or what to do,
So-
get started, or something like
And I
that.
haven't spent a lot of time with this. Dottie, is it easy enough to just add another
Yeah,
page from there?
Yep.
Or another panel?
Mhm.
But they've divided that picture up, so we'd have to figure that out.
Well, it's another column, right? Be kind of tricky on the,
or you could just put
Right.
it, or you could put it underneath it, you
Yeah.
know, like an arrow underneath it. There's a lot of things that we could do for that. We should probably, as one of our next, not maybe the specific next one, but I could probably make a note to print out all the pages of that for everybody, and we could look through it and look for updates, because I noticed that your picture's not on there.
that's a very big detriment to the town, I agree.
We'll bring the camera crew in, the makeup crew in, and get some pictures
Whatever you
taken.
need.
But to go through and make sure, like, everybody take a read through the website and see if there's anything that needs to be changed or updated. It's a good practice
And this is one of
to
the
do
other
that every
things
year.
too. So right here is supposed to be the link to the test. Actually, what was here was a link to a Board of Selectmen's meeting. And it just didn't, it was a meeting from 4 years ago, 5
Yeah.
years ago, and it just seemed very dated. So what we wanted to do was put one of the testimonials here, because we now have the Avalon testimonial, and we will have the Shovel Shop testimonial as soon as I give it the final approval. And so I thought this would be a good place maybe to have the Wheeling one, because the speakers are so polished in that one.
Right.
And then we can have all of the testimonials on that page.
Sure. All right, we can look at that.
So that was something I needed some help with, Dottie, is how to add that there.
Okay. I can do that. And I'll make a note for myself to print out the pages for everyone for the next meeting.
In the meantime, I mean, we can, some of the things, if we want to kind of walk through it, we're only at 125.
Sure.
We could kind of go through and get some other input. I mean, that's good feedback, and that's why we did what we did. We were trying to make it easier for people to get to this, and where do they go? I mean, as a business owner, are you, especially if you're a new business owner and you're just starting out, you're not necessarily going to think, oh, I need to go to the economic development page.
Right.
So coming in, you'd think something on the home page should be jumping out at folks to know, oh, this is how I learn about
Well, especially
doing
when you go to the
business.
town website, you have one column or link for residents, another one for
Right, I'm gonna go
businesses. It
back.
should be right there.
Page.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I was playing around with the website, trying to,
Yeah, Think Easton
you
is the
look
first
at-
So
one.
we have doing business in Easton, then we have the Think Easton.
those should be like one, I think. I know you can't do it, but it should be,
Well, we can, I mean, we can make this one and it goes to either Think Easton and then next
Right.
step, or it goes to the doing
That-
business in Easton and then you have a larger call
Right.
out for Think Easton, learn, which is maybe a subtitle, learn why Easton.
That's too much to do in a navigation bar.
Yeah.
You know what you could do, benefits of Easton. Think Easton doesn't tell you what the site's about.
Doesn't.
The title of the site is great, but on a menu item, benefits of Easton, you know what you're getting.
Well, I think doing business in Easton, it captures it the best, and if you click
Yes,
on that and
yeah.
have a link on there to Think Easton also,
Which is right there.
you have to describe what that is
Right.
better.
it's
So-
just, it's just a little confusing is what I thought when I was looking at
So
it.
we could have there, because it's just a link, is Think Easton, something like Think Easton dash.
Thinking of
Why
Easton?
your business will thrive in Easton, something like that.
Or are you thinking of doing business in Easton? Click on this link for more details,
Yeah.
or it's just got to be more narrative around that. And I don't know, I haven't worked on this website, but I don't know how easy it is to move things around exactly where you want them.
On the town website,
Yeah.
it's very easy and very difficult.
Why are there separate platforms between
Well,
the town and the Think Easton and the
Because
different
the
departments?
people that did
Just the way
Think
they did it,
Easton,
just like
no,
one at a
they're
time?
two different, so this is the town's website.
Right.
This is the firm or the
Okay.
platform that the town chose to create its website, which this goes back 8 years now, Dottie? And Think Easton
Not
was
a
this
content
entirely
management
different
system.
entity, and they could do things that staff isn't capable of doing. I mean, they have people who know how to develop web pages and do, the stacked columns, break up your picture, although that's not
Like
that
if somebody
difficult,
on
but
this
then
group
do a-
knows how to do web design or wants to do it, we could give them the password to get in there and change
Yeah.
that, but we can't do that on the town website. A town staff person
Right.
has to do those.
Right.
So I think Dan probably did that website himself in the interest of getting it done
I
quickly.
think
to
that
get
it was
moving.
actually
Or was
a
it,
firm. I think a firm did it.
oh, really?
That's what I thought. Maybe he did do it himself. And people choose, even web developers choose different platforms because they're either more familiar with one over the other, or there are different features that they're looking to incorporate into their website than others.
Well, I get that, it just seems
See,
odd that
I know
the town would
just
have,
enough to get myself in trouble.
you would think they would have a conformity, but I guess they did it separately, so it is what it is.
Well, it could always be changed.
but
I just don't think doing it on the town's website, you have as much control as you do over the Wix website.
All right.
So we can work on that. I mean, that's an easy thing to change.
Is there anything in permit eyes yet on the plaza purchase? Any preliminary plans yet, or?
No, I'm having a conversation tomorrow with the applicant and his representative to talk about what their plans are and how they want to proceed. I know he's anxious to get started.
Aren't you anxious to see what
I
they
think,
might have on
you know,
store?
what they want to know is, there are certain activities it sounds like they want to start working on, and what they need to do that before filing for the full special permit, which will require a lot of plans and architectural drawings and things. So, but yeah, that is happening.
Very
On the
good.
way, all right.
All right. Well, looks like we're done early today, and I just want to say that if anybody has anything that they want to see on an agenda, as always, let us know so that we can get that on there. Some months have a lot more things going on than others. This is typically a slow time of year for most of the departments. So if somebody would like to make a motion to adjourn, and our next meeting is going to be, do we have that on here?
It is going to be January 10th,
January 10th.
and schedule for everyone?
All right.
Great, so
Motion
So
to
moved.
adjourn?
Second.
all in favor? Unanimous? Great, thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate everyone coming out
Everybody
out of
enjoy
their
their
business
holidays.
day.